Kia ora, I'm Bridget Snelling, the country manager of Zero Aotearoa New Zealand. Last month, I had the privilege to speak with Marie Gladding of Every Skincare. We spoke about her trailblazing in the world of youth skincare, dealing with teenagers and making a real difference for our young people. I'm really excited to be launching this podcast series that shines a light on some amazing small business owners and the incredible mahi that they are doing. Here we are in the studio today with a very special couple, PJ and Krissie, who launched Foundation Basketball. I first met PJ and Krissie when they coached my young son in his basketball. He plays for their Eastern Bay's Jellyfish team. And I was just so inspired by the incredible work that they're doing with young people around Auckland. So I thought that they would be an amazing couple to talk to about their small business, what they're doing with Foundation Basketball. And I'm really, really excited to have them in the studio with me today. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me. I'm so delighted to have you here. So to kick things off, let's talk a little bit about Foundation Basketball, why you started it, how you started it. Give me the background. Who's going to go first?
You can go first.
Foundation Basketball. I actually went, so I played basketball my whole life. I started probably when I was about 12, 10. Like all Kiwi kids, you play rugby growing up, play rugby league. I got into basketball, fell in love with it, and just played up to a point where I was playing professionally or semi-professionally in the New Zealand NBL. But life happened and ended up in the workforce. So after I probably stopped playing when I was about 25, went into the workforce, I guess not getting paid enough. You know, in New Zealand, you don't get paid enough. You live your dream. But back then, especially in like the 90s and 2000s, basketball is not what it was today.
Yeah.
So,
well, fastest growing sport right now. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just the opportunities back then were limited. It was a minority sport. So for me, when I left, I went into sales. I didn't know, like basketball was everything to me at high school. And my mum was like, oh, and you know, my whole family are go to university, go get a degree, do these things. This is the life that you have to live. And I was like, no, I'm going to go play basketball. I'm going to be a professional. And I pursued it really hard. But then after I finished, I was like, oh, I wasn't prepared. I didn't prepare myself for the workforce. Yeah. So I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I don't want to dig holes. Like that's not I don't have the hands for it. What's the easy way for me? I went into retail. So I went into retail and I was like, okay, I like talking to people. I like clothes. And then went into there, worked in sales for 10 years. So I'm always somebody that likes to, you know, I want to progress. I want to get better. And then I just found myself hating every day. Because I just thought this is what you do. Like you go into the workforce, you work hard, you climb the ladder, and you'll be okay. And that's how it worked for me in basketball. So I figured it's the same thing in the corporate world. It wasn't, and so there was always little pieces. So I got to the point where I was sales repping. I was doing, you know, we're doing okay. Like we were okay. We were living okay. We're able to like get, you know, live well. And then I had an idea. I had a little idea.
The idea.
Yeah. I had a little idea, and I asked Krissie, and because my friend, at the time, I saw he's a professional wrestler in Japan.
Wow.
And we went to school together, and I saw he's doing really amazing things. And Japanese pro wrestling is really popular. It's actually popular around the world, or in Japan. And I was like, what are you doing? So I just started hanging out with him and asking him questions because I was really curious about jumping out of my 9 to 5. Yeah. Without talking to her yet. So I was having all
without getting permission.
Without permission, yeah. And I just asked, I went and I asked him questions. How did you do it? How did you do it? Yeah. And it was always really simple things. You just do it. You just start. And, you know, it's the old Nike thing. Just do it. And I was like, okay, is it that simple?
No, it's not that simple.
We came to find that it's not that simple. But I did. I came to her and I said, Darlene, I want to give up my 6-figure salary and go into business and we'll live off your salary.
Which was not very much.
And this is my great idea, right? What are you doing? Just going to write content for a professional wrestler in Japan. Okay. How are you getting paid? There's always these R's, but I just had an idea. I just really, and it was pushing me. It was internally going, I can't be here. I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
I know we're making enough money to be comfortable. However, again, I didn't plan my earlier days, so we didn't buy a home. And then all of a sudden, 5 years into the work, I was in real estate when I first started working with my stepfather, and I saw the jump, right? 300,000, 400,000, 1 million. I understood why that happened, like the auctions and all these things, and I just went, oh my gosh! Like I started to feel quite bad about myself. Lots of my friends went and bought homes early, as they do, and you're just like, hey, I'm all right. I'm going to be a basketball player, so it's going to be sweet.
Yeah. I'm going to make the NBA, and then I'll have millions.
Yeah, and I'll be fine. This is going to be great. Didn't work out that way. And
our viewers and listeners can't see, but you are like 1 million feet tall. Like, I mean, I know that you're an amazing basketball player, so just saying.
Not good enough. And this is where I was. It's not just. There's so much around things when you make a decision on what to do, and sometimes, especially for a male, I'm like pretty simple. I'm pretty simple. I'm like, I'll just go do that. It's gonna be fine. And the pieces and the things that when I presented that to her, and this is what I love about her, and this is probably why we work, is that she goes with my stupid ideas, and she backs me, and I think for that moment, that conversation. She backed me, and I just went, I'm going to go do it. Don't worry, darling. It's going to be sweet. All right?
Hey, but you need that, right? Like, I mean, I hear that from other business owners. You've got to have the passion. Yeah. And I've heard others say it's something that I couldn't not do, that fire in your belly. And if it does, if it's not feeling right doing what you're doing, you've got a passion project that you want to pursue and turn into something more.
Yeah,
like it's incredible, but you need that support, right? So I think that's awesome. So awesome you can do it as a couple. We'll talk more about that later on because I'm sure that it comes with ups and downs.
And so
made the stupid
basketball. Made the stupid decision. We went into professional wrestling, failed miserably. First thing, failed miserably. So we left the home we were living in. When I moved in with my sister, so we were in a room with my sister. Both kids were in another small room. So we went from a big house to there, right? And
sacrifices. Yeah.
Sacrifice. And we failed. I failed. Like I made promises to them. And I think that's the hardest part is that, I think when I first started in that space, you listen to all the podcasts, you read all the books, stay positive, manifest your reality.
Yeah.
That's cool. But, it's so much harder to do. And I think, so when we failed, it was that point where I was depressed. You're depressed because you failed. You're now financially in big trouble. And we were. And it's easy for me to go. And I said to her, I was like, should I just go back to work? Should I just go back and do? If we go back to work, we could pay this off within 3 years, 4 years. But I feel that would have been a failure, right? So at that point, I just said, no, I want to stay in business. I'm just obviously in the wrong space.
Yeah.
I need, because that business was about money and it was all about bottom line. And I'm not that person. It's just not me. So I said, no, I need to do something I really enjoy. I walked away from basketball. My life was good. I loved my life when I was playing. I didn't like it for the 10 years that I stopped. So how about I go back to that? Right, that's something I've spent a lot of time on. Went back to that. And the reason why I actually went back into it and I never did it before, I didn't know if I like kids. Like, I didn't know if I like...
fair question.
Yeah, for it. Like, it's...
Particularly if they're not your own.
No, his attitude was always, I don't like kids. I can't work with kids. How am I going to, no.
Which is, crazy for me to hear because I know how amazing you are with kids.
Well, I don't think he knew
I didn't
know. He was with kids.
I literally didn't know. And so, because I was out of a job, and I was wondering what to do.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks, Vidal, my daughter, she started school that week. And I was like, I got nothing to do and I can't sit in this house. I'm going to be depressed and I'm going to be, they said, do you want to be a teacher aide? Cool. I'll go be a teacher aide in a class of 5-year-olds in a hub of 100 kids.
I cannot imagine this.
Right? 100 kids. And I thought, I'm going to hate this. Yeah. And I loved it.
Wow.
I loved it. And I think it was because in business often, and I think that first experience that I talked about, the wrestling experience, it taught me business is a snake pit. There is a lot of people who do things in a way that is there's no integrity. There's the things that I didn't really grow up with and that I don't really agree with. And I remember there was a point where there was a disagreement with me and a business partner. And there was a point, it was after we failed, and it's after I understood his role in how we failed. And he pretty much said to me, after he pretty much screwed us over, he said, "That's just business."
Oh.
And I remember hearing that, and I was like, "Is that how it is?" I was like, "Is that really how it is? Is this how we have to conduct ourselves in business? Is this the way it is? That everyone's just like this? They lie, cheat, and steal, and it's okay, like, you know?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to make business in a way that I feel comfortable. I love basketball, so I'm never going to disrespect it. I'm not about the bottom line. However, I am very aware that you need money to live in life, right? Yeah. So what do I do? All right, where's the hole? My friend Lindsay Tate gives me a call 2 weeks as I'm doing teacher rating, and he goes, "Hey man, do you want to do some coaching?" And he's a good friend. You know, he knows what I'm going through. He knows I'm out of a job. And you need those people in moments. So, and he gives me a call and says, "Hey, do you want to just do some community coaching for for Auckland basketball?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a go, man. I need some money." Like, you know, and it was only 10 hours a week when I was working for Auckland basketball. And I went to St. Kennigan's. They put me into St. Kennigan's. I was real passionate about working in South Auckland. Like, that's where I'm from. And I knew if I went out there and the way I love basketball, that I'd be able to help kids.
Yeah.
And they put me in St. Kitts, right? And I was just like, "Oh my God."
Oh no.
I don't know. I drove into the car park, and I was like, "I need third-party insurance. I'm going to, if I scratch something, I'm done." Like, you know, the car park's ridiculous. But I started working with the kids. I started to come to understand the community. I became really passionate about that community. Like the kids, I understood. I'm from South Auckland. I'm from Otara. It's not a good area. But I could see the same problems that some of the kids with, they're wealthy. Like, you know, they have everything. Yet they didn't have community. They didn't know how to make friends. They're sad. They're not getting educated. They have disconnect with their parents. Yeah. All these things are very similar, like, you know, but for different reasons. Basketball is it's in a space where the supply, the demand outdoes the supply. Like, you can't facilitate for these kids.
Totally. I mean, there's, you know, so many kids wanting to play basketball now, right? It's growing.
I will say this, it's the new club rugby. Like, we have 1,100 kids in our club.
That's amazing.
1,100. That's 1,100. And we don't even operate 7 days a week. Like, you know, we don't operate at our maximum capacity at the moment because we're beholden to court space. So basketball in New Zealand, they don't own their own courts. No, like BBNZ, the governing body, does not own their own courts. We have to rent space. We're all renters. So I was like looking at it going, what's the best thing we can do for basketball? Yeah. And I remember my days as a rugby league player, playing for Otahu Leopards, club rooms. You go to the club rooms, the families are there after the games.
Center of community. Yeah.
They all have their, you know, everyone has a little, like, it's just what I remember. It's my childhood. My photo's on the wall. My photo's still on the wall because it's just from when I was under 10s.
Oh, totally.
You know, and that feeling, I was like, why can't I have that feeling for basketball players? Why can't they have a home, like, where their photo's on the wall? Yeah. They come back 10 years later with their kids, or they come back 20 years later with their kids. It's still there. And they go, "Hey, look, kids, I'm a jellyfish. Like, you know, here's my jersey. Here's my thing." Real community and real legacy, right? For a sport that I love. And we ended up having to play at the park in Otara.
Okay, so you went out on your own. You started Foundation.
Yep. So we took over all operation at St. Kennigan's. And, you know, that was a messy, that's business. Like, you know, I was dealing with quite big people who were head of big boards. And that was a confronting space because often you feel like an imposter in business, especially me, because I'm from, like, I look how I dress. I don't walk into
Hey, everyone has imposter syndrome.
Always.
All walks of life.
For real.
I speak from experience.
I think it comes natural, right? And it's just, I walk into a room full of suits. I've got a hat on. I've got a hoodie on. And I speak the way I speak. I've got a little bit of a twang to the way I speak. You know, some of the words I do is a little bit hood. But it's natural. It's just where I came up. But I relate to a lot of I relate to them. So we take off the suits, and as people, we relate because they've gone through hardships. They're hungry, like, you know, and things like that. And then once we understand that we're the same people, we can do business together. But it is scary for people out there if you're just stepping into business, and it's just like again, I will relate everything back to basketball. It's like stepping into when I first stepped into the professional space. You don't know if you should be there. Like, you know, like these guys are like, this is Perra Cameron, that's Dylan Boucher. These dudes are like, I've seen you on TV, and you're all very amazing. Just the confidence to do it. So I remember sitting there and went, no, I can do it. Like once I saw him and what he had achieved, I can do that. Like, you know, like I'm just as sharp as you, buddy. Like, you know, so that pushed me. And I said, okay, we're going to go. And we started, me and my friend Lindsay, we started Auckland City Basketball. So it was an organization, and we became disruptors. We are now the biggest independent basketball club in Auckland City.
Amazing.
Yeah. And we are fully operational. She does not have to work. And this is the biggest part, I think, is that.
How did he rope you into this, Krissie? Because I know you're the Zero user.
Yeah, he left me on my own with that one.
You know, you obviously you supported the dream and you got involved. So how was it? Was there a point where you were like, okay, we can both afford to be in this? Like, Krissie, you don't have to work now. Like, did it take a while to get to that point?
Yeah.
Just last year.
Absolutely.
Just Christmas last year.
Yeah, amazing.
So when
Congrats, that's such a milestone.
Yeah, it's Christmas last year. And we didn't realize how big of a deal that was, like, until we actually do it. And like it's the little things, like all these cliches you hear without experience, right? Like you're just like, I hear that all the time. And it hits home. Like when you're going through it, like, you know, it really hits home. Like just all the things that you hear and little catchphrases, once they make sense, you're like, oh, actually, we can push forward.
I think that somewhat like when it came to us is that classic line of, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to jump.
Yeah.
And when it came to me and him, it was like, okay, well, looking at the way things are going in the economy, one of us is going to have to take that leap first.
Yeah.
He jumped first. And for me, it was, I don't know, I value a little bit more of his happiness in his workplace. So I know a lot of people did not agree with why I supported him to do it. It takes a lot of faith and trust and a little bit of pixie dust. But
it's quite hard to ignore those people who are giving you advice like, why is he doing this? He shouldn't be doing this.
I'm like, what do you mean letting him?
It's my mother. Like, it's a family. Like,
you know it is. It's
but
people who love you.
They care.
They want you to be okay. And it's always risky, right?
Very.
Pursuing your dream in a business capacity is risky.
Yep.
But, you know, both working 9-to-5 jobs, travel, having young children, primary school, toddlers. And we could see that, okay, so I'm getting home at 6:30 at night, spending an hour with my kids just to feed them and put them to bed. And we're like, I've missed out. I've missed out on this time. I've got to get my kids up at the crack of dawn, kick them off to school. And in most cases, if they don't have after-school programs, someone else is picking them up because we're still working till late in the evening. And it's like, this is not really the life that we want to be able to lead with our kids. We want to be a bit more involved. We want to have the freedom of time to choose how and when we can do that with our kids.
Yeah.
So that was a big factor for us when it came to starting business, our own business, and is to have that freedom to move and to live the life that we want to live with our kids, because everyone tells you it's over in the blink of an eye, and it really is. It goes so fast. It's worth it to us, and it was worth it to me to see him happy in a space where he can earn income, but have a space where he's passionate.
It's awesome
to work towards that. So for me, I was like, I can't live like this anymore. I'm not happy. I don't like working for these people. They don't seem to understand me or appreciate the work that I do, that I put in. And I could clearly see that. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do? okay, so here's my plan. He goes, we're going to take a year here. I'm like, right. And I think after the pro wrestling gig didn't go through, I mean, well, don't get me wrong, it was very successful. Like, the show was fantastic. He goes, but it was the afterward. it was afterward. I was like, okay, so what do I do now? He goes, I failed. I promised you all these things. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay to try and fail because you learn so much from it.
Yeah.
And most people are afraid to fail. Don't.
Well,
Don't be.
we come
You
from a
can't.
culture, right, where it's kind of not okay. Like, we don't normalize it enough. But
No.
everyone
Yeah.
who's ever succeeded in anything has failed along the way. You never come across someone that's been easy, plain sailing for. So, we were talking before about you learn more from your mistakes and from your wins, or from your losses than your wins. So,
There's a lot of truth in that. Yeah. And this was that. So when he came back afterwards, like, okay, I'm going to go coach basketball. I'm like, really? Really? You're not just going to go into a social league or or do that? Like, you're actually going to go coach it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. And you just do what you have to do. So for me, it was like, I'm just going to continue on with my job.
Yeah.
And I'll let you figure it out. You have the time to try and figure it out. He goes, but I'll just keep going. I'll keep going in what I'm doing. And we had no idea. We had no idea that he was going to have such a passion for teaching children. Children are honest. Children are fun. Like, we love kids. He goes, but there's so much fun, and there's no facade. There's no second guessing about what they're thinking, because they'll tell you.
Yeah,
They'll be straight up and honest, and they'll tell you how it is. And in a world of adults where you're putting on a different mask depending on who you're talking to, it's refreshing to be in front of kids who will just tell you how it is for them and how they see you. And you can either take that honesty or you don't, but I find it quite entertaining. It's like, no, this is refreshing. I like this balance.
Yeah.
I like the balance of working with kids, and then I'll deal with the adults later. But
that's the hard part.
Yeah, focusing on the kid was really just the focus. It's like, I can't focus on the parents. I can't focus on the adults. We just need to focus on them. Because if they're happy, it'll cross over to their parents.
Yep.
They'll understand it, seeing their little wins, their little successes. So that's what makes it worthwhile for me, just watching the big smile on their face. I think a couple of weeks ago, one of our club kids, he's one of the youngest. He's 6 years old.
Oh,
and
adorable.
He's very talented, and he can listen, which is amazing.
That's the talent.
Yeah, that's the talent.
That's his talent. You can hear.
And they were playing a game of basketball, and our next older class was about to come in, so they were all waiting on the sideline, waiting to play. And he made this amazing basket, and all of the older boys got up and they're like, yeah. And he goes up to his mum. His mum told me this, and he said to me, Mum, I felt like an NBA player.
Oh.
And I was like, that is gold. Is that just to see that big smile on their face, this massive accomplishment, this little guy making such an amazing game winner shot, buzzer beater, and he walked out of there happy as.
And that's in sport, but that confidence carries through, right?
Yep.
Into everything. Mm-hmm. The rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the year, a core memory, like that I can do it, which is what is so amazing about the work that you do. So Foundation Basketball, you run the program at St. Ken's, and you have your Eastern Bays Jellyfish Club.
Mm-hmm.
So how long has it been going for now since you kind of first made the switch and went out on your own?
5 years.
And so what along the way, I mean, obviously getting to that point, there were ups and downs, but you're in it now, 5 years in. What are some of the great things that have happened along the way? What are some of the things that, I mean, you've just talked about the kind of the impact you can have on kids' lives, which is, more than 99% of us can say in our jobs. But what are some of the ones that you'd like to think about along the way? Some of the stuff that's been good.
Got anything?
Oh, yeah. No, just the time. Understanding the time that I have now. The autonomy.
Yeah.
I have no ears. I really haven't. My whole life. I get clipped in the ears. I get smacked all the time. And I still won't shut up. And this is just So being in this space is natural for me. It's something probably that's worked out. And because I had to understand what I didn't like about jobs, and it was like having a boss. Like, I just don't like having a boss because I have good ideas and I really want to push them, and they say no. I was like, why not? So I love the autonomy. The wins that we've received is just being able to actually, again, actually doing business in a way that's not the templated way, and doing things at my pace. And just, it's freedom. It's real freedom. It's real freedom. There's a lot of pressure with that freedom. There's a lot of responsibility. I like it all. But the biggest ones are the freedoms, the time I have with my children.
Well, you get to take your kids to work because they're both like 7 feet tall and they
they
can
don't
play
have a choice.
basketball.
They don't have a
That's right.
choice.
That's right.
But,
Both basketball players,
got
of
to
course.
employ our son and give him his first
That's the
job.
wins. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like just
Yeah.
getting this is how you're going to earn your pocket money, sweetheart. You know,
Coaching basketball.
reffing,
right.
coaching.
Yeah, amazing.
And just teaching them the process of business. Like, they get to see it. Like, they don't see the end result, which was all the wealth that you create and all these things, and they're born into that. They saw the process from when I was living in the garage with my sister to where we are now. And it's the step by step. That's the biggest thing for them is
That's
the
inspirational.
how, right?
Awesome for them to see that.
Like
Yeah.
Role modelled.
This is our son.
Yeah, the
He came
jellyfish
up
is
with
his
He's
this.
name.
a jellyfish.
Yeah,
Really?
he's very much a part of it. He came up with the concept.
And the logo. and
Yeah,
all
the
of that.
logo, the name of
That's
it.
awesome.
Like, we gave him some ideas of what we kind of wanted, but he's very much a part of our business.
It's a real family
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. We're all involved.
So there's wins along the way. And then, the hard stuff, day to day. What are obviously
Honestly?
everything's so easy on Zero.
Honestly, I think every little win, every little step was a win. And I knew from the start, like, okay, so we have to cover X, Y, and Z. We've got a business now, so we need to make sure these things are covered. The most valuable thing that I actually did to begin with, other than opening a bank account, was to actually get it directly signed up into Xero.
I love hearing that.
Years before.
And we did not pay you to say that.
No,
I'm just gonna
not
make
at
that
all.
clear.
But it certainly made life a lot easier for my accountant to go through everything, because there was no, oh, wait, I've got to pull up a year from when I didn't have it.
Yeah. And the point you're making is like, you're a basketball player, you've become a basketball player and a supportive partner wanting to get a business together, but you've got to actually run the business, right? There's all the admin that comes with it, and it's not easy. And that's actually the part that, a lot of people really struggle with. So that's why you need tools to make it easier.
If I don't do it, he can't do what he does.
Yeah.
He's on the court, he's doing his job, but he needed me to do this side of it. Okay, tag team. So you take that part, I'll take this part. And then if I've got any questions along the way, then we'll just meet up in the middle somewhere and we'll figure it out. If I need to be on court, I'll go be on court with you and I'll support in that way. Don't get me wrong. This was scary. The amount of stress and anxiety that I had through this whole process was real. It was like, even just from taking that first little press of that mouse to say, yes, I'm going to trial for Xero right now. Okay, cool. We've got that. But in the early years of our business, in the early stages, I couldn't afford an accountant.
No, I get it.
I couldn't. And a few years before, I had met a lady and she goes, hey, I've got this system that I am working on and it's called Xero, and it's allowed me to run my small business by myself. I don't even have an accountant right now, but it allows me to keep all my records together. And it took me some time to get through all of the ins and outs of it. But this was, before all of the upgrades that exist today. But her explaining that to me, I'm like, huh. And then as time went on, I saw more business using it. Oh, okay. So doing a cross comparison, what does this system do that others don't? Oh, well, a lot of systems will have 1, 2, 3, 4, but they'll be missing this. One of the biggest things I saw was that a lot of other systems didn't have payroll implemented into it. And I wasn't at a point at that stage where I was hiring anybody else except me and him. So I was like, okay, well, I'll worry about that later. But the fact that it is there, then that's that's great.
Yeah, because
When we
one day I'll probably need it.
one day I'm going to
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah, awesome.
And I found that to be quite easy to navigate. And I'm probably have made a ton of mistakes, which my accountant loves to bring up with me. Once I actually got one on board, that alleviated a lot of my stress and anxiety.
Yeah, a lot of the admin on you.
Yeah. It was the jargon. It was the accounting jargon that I was continuously going back into Google. I was like, what does that mean? Oh, okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do I apply that? I don't know what to do. And this is where your accountant comes in.
Yeah.
And
Well, you get to a point,
gaps.
right, where you need an advisor
Yeah.
who can help you with all of that
Yeah.
stuff.
I think that's the business side of things is us realizing and I think from as a third party watching her work with it because I don't. She goes, come have a look at this. I don't want you.
Also, don't learn it because then she'll
Yeah.
make
No,
you
exactly.
help.
Have a look at this bank statement.
That
I
has
want to
been
see.
my-
I want you to see what your spending activity looks
Yeah.
like.
Hey, that's been in a Samoan household, like when there's chores to be done, I'm the perfect one. I know how to avoid all of them. But no, she's just watching her, and I think, again, that imposter syndrome thing. I remember just thinking about going into business, and it seemed like such a big thing. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, how do we do this? And then I was like, okay, I'm going to click on this. And honestly, a little click, like she said, just clicking it and then reading it and then going, oh, it's not that hard.
Just
I
one
just got to
step, right?
register.
Yeah.
Okay.
One step and the next step.
Yeah. So I registered and then we paid the money. Like, that's a little bit of money. You pay it.
That was a surreal feeling, though. I was like, oh my gosh, we actually have Xero and we have business bank accounts. And
Yeah, these little things
We're a
that
business
we're
now.
a business now.
Yeah.
It says it on paper, but do I feel that way?
But I love that because you're right. Like I think for anyone, you love something and you want to create it into something where you can make some money out of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dream.
Mm.
But it's the thought of, well, how do I even start? And I love the advice you're giving, right? It's just take the first step,
Yeah.
one step, then the next step, and then things start to come together.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about kind of some of the community work you're doing because obviously you're running a business, but there's a massive social element to what you're doing. Like, you're coaching basketball and you're building a community around a sport, but there's so much more to it in terms of the impact you're having on kids' lives and their families' lives. Can you talk to me a bit about, what you're doing? I mean, PJ, you mentioned to me previously about working with families and kids and using basketball as a way to kind of help them.
Yep.
Tell me more about that.
So like I said, when we start a business, I don't have a bottom line goal. The community side of things, I always felt there needs to be a balance. So if I am taking, I need to give. And with that balance, I believe business works a little bit better. Well, I feel better about
I love
it.
that. It's so good.
But also my grandparents, this is my grandparents' work. So the community work, I grew up with them, which they would take me everywhere. We would be giving boxes of food to people, giving shoes to people, just always out there. That's what they did. However, they did that to the detriment of us, of our family unit. And this is one thing I did understand about the community space and giving in community spaces is that I do want to give and I really want to and I'm really passionate about it. But I've seen so many social workers who have done 30, 40 years of work in Otara, and they're overweight. They're sad. They don't have money. They're unable to even feed their own children. And I'm just like, how can you give when you're not there, right? And I saw that from the thing. So I when I stepped into community space, it just came down to necessity. My first sort of project I think I did was Kiwi Daddies. So Kiwi Daddies is it's a 10-year-old Facebook group. Okay, and we started that 10 years ago with two others who are in Australia. And the idea was to use I saw Facebook social media as a real space where people, the keyboard warrior, right? Like you have the anonymity of the screen, say what you want, right? But people choose to say really horrible things to people. I'm like, just because you're not going to get punched in the face, you're just going to say it.
Yeah.
But with
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
But with Kiwi Daddies, I saw men start actually start sharing their emotion. We didn't do the talking thing. Like this is before Man Up. These are before these men's groups, before the holistic.
Yeah.
Let's all share our feelings, right? Like, come on, men, let's do that. I found with the anonymity, they started to share. And then underneath the shares, I was always worried. I'll go into the comments because I have to manage that. I have to admin it. But there's support. We have 60,000 members.
Wow.
We're one of the biggest support groups in Facebook in regards to men's health in New Zealand, Australia.
That is incredible.
It's, and this is probably where the community part comes. And I think I said this to you before. I like turning money away. I like turning down money.
You have said that to me.
I really do.
I was like, I better check with Krissie that she likes turning money away.
Check with me.
Check with her, because don't ever take my word for it.
No, but I mean, okay, so your point is that you're not motivated by money. Because lots of people are, right? You're motivated by, you need money to live. And, obviously you're motivated by the impact you can have.
Yeah, because I think if you I don't know why, business-wise, and when I was in that wrestling space, it just had to be about the dollar. Like, you do anything to get the bottom line to what you're achieving, whatever it takes. Here, it's like, no, it's not whatever it takes. It's let's do this work. We'll create value in all spaces, not just financial. And then from that, I believe, we use these catchwords. A lot of people use catchphrases, holistic, inclusive. They're words, right? But if you really do it, it's actually hard to attain, hard to achieve. So I think with the community work, like Kiwi Days, working in the men's space, that's helped me just as a father myself, to be honest. Like I'm trying to help myself as a dad. And then doing work with kids. So I started free basketball in South Auckland. So I was working with Auckland Basketball. We sat at a board meeting. And I asked, why aren't we doing anything in South Auckland? And the simple answer was money. That was a simple answer. They don't have money. We don't have money to deliver. So they're left over there. And I was like, that makes sense. As a player in South Auckland, wondering why I'm at the park and there's no one teaching us. There's nowhere for me to go where I can learn. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I understand the answer. But that's not the end of it. So I walked out. And I decided on my only day off, which was a Sunday, I'm going to go to Mangere Rec. And we just started free basketball in South Auckland. No, again. She goes, are you getting paid for this? So all the Kiwi, everything I've just said, I've not got paid for it. Right?
One car.
One car that was breaking down with no registration.
Wait, hold a second. You're supposed to be around on a Sunday. And you're not.
No, you're not.
To pack up my kids for the entire day.
We used to go to
pack
up. That's why they're so good at basketball, because they're playing it every day. But that's amazing. So you go and deliver, a service.
Deliver the service without the thought of remuneration, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I started that kind of thing. And it's continued on in my business life, is that I'd rather just get the outcome and then I'll go ask for money after. And especially in funding spaces. So if you're doing community work, for you to get the funding, you have to tick a certain amount of boxes. And the funders have the boxes to tick beforehand. But then I'm like, I'm on the ground and I see what needs to happen, and it has nothing to do with the boxes that I need to tick. So how about I just do it for free? And until I get the outcomes that are needed, and then I'll show you these outcomes, and you give me the money. And that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
So we went into, but that's not that simple, right? That's how I saw it. That's not how it happened. But we started that. It grew and grew and grew. I received a Kiwi Bank, what are they called? Local medal things.
2019 or 2019?
Something like that. 2019.
Was that a grant?
No,
just the medal
just
and
an
the
award.
photo. And
just recognition of how awesome you are.
He was nominated by one of our club parents at the time for community work in the basketball space. So
awesome.
He was one of those recipients.
I believe the community work side helps me push forward. It motivates me. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me understanding that basketball, and this is, I'm not a basketball coach. I do teach basketball. That's one aspect of what I do. But my main passion is to use basketball as a tool to teach people how to be functional, how to live life well. And because that's what basketball did for me. It's different for different kids. So I learn more on a basketball court than I learn the maths, because I'm just not paying attention. I'm bored.
I mean, yeah. Numbers, Zero. We're all about the numbers.
All about the numbers.
But I hear you. Running around a court is
well, for me personally,
it's a different
And cost,
experience.
petrol
Yeah.
cost.
But then, and this is where I say,
Yeah.
where there's kids who are fantastic at math, like I teach these kids, and then they might not be great at basketball. And at St. Kitts especially, like some of them are fantastic mathematicians. They're going to be top. They're probably going to go work for NASA, right? So they're
We need those people.
Yes. we do,
However,
yeah.
in the basketball space, they're not there.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, hey, if you're really good at something, you just apply the same techniques to what you're doing. And basketball's the same way. The ball don't lie. That is a saying. It's a basketball saying. Basketball does not lie. You can tell me you are working at your game. You can tell me you've spent hours doing it, but that will only really actually eventuate if you like. Your jump shot will tell me. Your hand dribble will tell me, because those things need to be worked on all the time. Now apply that to math. I'm not good at math. Cool. I can't solve this problem. Cool. Keep chipping away. Do not get negative. Stay positive, right? And stay confident. And because confidence is, I believe confidence to be a very, very, very big thing for young people. And teaching basketball, that's one of the biggest things I teach. So through a jump shot, I'll teach that through jump shot shooting, where if in your mind you think you're not going to make it, you're not, probably not. And if you make it, you'll be surprised, right? Whereas if you think you're going to make it when you start out, you got a better chance, because everything that you've learned, or even if you haven't learned anything, but yeah, I'm confident, I'm just shooting. And just with that confidence, sometimes, bang, right?
Sometimes it happens.
You go to the park and you see all these dudes that haven't worked out, but they're really confident and they make shots, like, and that's how it goes in the world. Like, there's dudes who I remember going to school with, and I was like, you guys are like, just going, you're not that functional, but they're doing really well in life. Why? Because they're confident in themselves. And people might, and sometimes they get put down, especially in New Zealand, you get put down for standing up,
Yeah, that
standing
tall
out.
poppy thing.
Standing out, trying to do something awesome, right? And especially in South Auckland, it's like, you're not allowed to do something awesome because you're going to leave us and we're all going to be stuck here, right? That's how they feel. Like,
Really?
we want to drag you back down, right? That you can't achieve. And it's, I just believe confidence and teaching these things are essential. Like, people ask me why. I'm just like, well, I'm going to drive on the road with these kids. Have you ever seen these kids? Like, some of them don't look both ways. Like, and I was like, you're going to operate a vehicle on the road with me? Like, come on, man. We got to do people the
We've got
same.
to give you some life skills.
Like, has anyone else seen that?
We got to. I've got to help the world. Like, this is how I help the world. Like, making better drivers. But the community work is an essential thing that motivates me. Now, that's not for everybody. It's just something personal to me, and I love it. I really love it. I think that's, if I can find a way to fund everything, I'll just do everything for free. Like, if I could just fund our bills and our
I
life.
see Krissie going,
Yeah, it's like that.
And it's like that. And that's part of our struggle.
hey, but that's why, like, you're a great team, right? Because you kind of the head and the heart. I mean, not that you don't have heart, Krissie, but it's a great combo, because you need to balance each other out, especially being a couple in business. I could talk all day about the work that you're doing. It's so incredible. But what, just as a couple in business together, because I think, this is relatively common, right? Couples get into business together and sometimes it goes horribly wrong. So how do you make it work?
Yeah, sometimes it's not a good idea to go into business with your spouse. Yes. We're always talking, I think, is one of the biggest things that we're very, very good at. We're always talking. And yes, he's a dreamer. And yes, he's got grand ideas. And I was like, okay, so how? And it's more just coming back to the question and goes, can we do it? Can we do it? Hold on, let me go have a look at my numbers first. Can we do it? I'm going to go do it anyway.
I've already done it. I already started.
I'm just going to go do it anyway. I'm like, all right, I'll just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you encounter that from time to time. You do clash because he's got a skill set I do not have. Yes, I played basketball in high school, but that was high school at a school that did not focus on sport. But he does things I cannot do, and he doesn't have the patience to do the things that I'm doing in the background. So I was like, okay, well, I'll support you here. You go and do that. We're going to have disagreements. We always do, like everybody.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the goal is still the same. Our passion for children in the space with basketball is the same. Do I believe in what he's doing? Yes, I do. It would be awful if I didn't. that would probably cause us to break down a lot earlier if that was the case. But do I believe he can do it? Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I do. Sorry. Do I believe in what he's doing and what he's saying? Yes, I do, because I've been watching him do it for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Is he going to get it done? Yeah.
And I think that's like just hearing it as a couple, as we're in our spaces all the time. We're in each other's pockets.
Yeah, 24/7.
Yeah.
I think I would kill my husband.
And we nearly do. We're
I
at
love
each
him, but 24 hours a day.
That's right. And you have to separate it, like, at times. And you also like she was saying to me, like, saying, I trust him, all those. I have to trust her.
Yeah.
I have to also remember, and I think this has happened a lot. I find that she let me go out and do business. I went and done these things. And as a man, you get get your ego up there, and then all of a sudden it's all me. And I forget about her and her contribution and every day that she did, right? If I forget that, that's a breakdown. And at the end of the day, I'll be like, oh, no, sorry, darling, I've found a new, I'm with the new PA. She's, we've grown apart. We've grown apart.
That does happen.
We've grown apart, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, I'm never going to forget what she's done. Like, I can't do what I do without what she's done. She worked these 9 to 5s. She would watch me go out here, and sometimes she'd see me on the couch and she's off to work. And I'm sitting there going, oh, bye, darling. Like, and she goes, do you do anything? Like, it's
You're
one
like,
of those
God,
things.
lucky I love you.
There are times I'll come home and I was like, okay, hun, this is what I've done today. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Did you get the washing out?
That's right. And that's where it's at. It's like, I got to understand that I'm not too tired. I don't want to make sure, and to go into business and say, I'm doing this for my family, and then terrorize your family because you're working too hard and there's no balance. That you're not doing it for your family. You're doing it for yourself. So it's more, all right, if I'm really doing it for my family, then I got to understand, one, she needs to understand her importance in the business. And I say it to her and she's like, oh, whatever. But I'm like, you are the boss. Like,
I think we all know that. Krissie runs the show.
She runs the show. She really does. And it's like, again, zero. We'd be in trouble if she didn't have that on lock. And I do not help her in that space. And I think and this is the point I wanted to make about zero, to be honest, is that without it in those first 3 years, like, I don't think we would have had the structure. We'd probably be in a high tax problem. We'd probably have issues and might have sunk us, because we didn't organize our money properly. And I've seen so many businesses fall, new businesses, because they're like, oh, I didn't pay provisional tax. Provisional tax has killed so many people because they just don't know about it, right? Or they don't think about it.
Oh, they know about it.
This is a great segue into the point that things are tough out there, and we've just released our latest Zero Small Business Insights, which shows that the sales for small businesses has continued to fall. So for the past 12 months, I think there's only been a couple of months where sales have gone up, and for the rest of the time, it's falling. So there are lots of businesses really struggling, and the latest data also shows that while jobs are growing still year on year, only for a third of businesses are they still employing. So it's actually 2/3 are kind of retrenching, and a third, like 30%, I think it has kind of openly said they're reducing their workforce. So at a time, where macroeconomic conditions are tough, obviously you guys are operating and you're going well, and you've got your amazing social element. But what's your advice for other businesses out there who might be listening to this and thinking, oh, wow, I'm really finding it tough. What are you guys? How do you get through those tough times?
Well, we have. It doesn't mean it's been all smooth sailing. Like, we had if it was just club basketball that we were delivering, I wouldn't have been able to leave my 9 to 5 job. Operating in different, multiple avenues of income is important. You need to have that. You can't just rely on one source. So you do, as annoying as this line may sound, you do need to go away and do your homework about what's going to be lucrative for you and your business. And with, oh my goodness, the cost of living in Auckland, it is really hard
I know.
justify bringing on another employee. And with everything just going up and down, it is hard for small businesses to plan financially for the next financial year. Is okay, I've made a loss this year. I've made a big loss. I've made a big loss to the point where I can't employ X amount of employees now, which means I've got to do more work, which means that stress falls on me. So looking at it from that side of things, is having multiple sources is really important. You've got to open up your avenue. I mean, we've done it in basketball. Who ever thought that we could try and do that in basketball? But we are, and the more that this brain over here starts to tick away in different spaces, the better it is for us. But those are lessons that we learn from failure. Yeah, we learn those lessons from failure, from not being as successful the first time around. Is if we only just stick to one and rely on that, I'm like, well, what if that doesn't quite pan out the way that we thought it would?
Yeah.
There's a template to success. So, you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you jump in. Yeah. You just need to, like she said, you need to research. You need to be prepared. So before I jumped into, it sounds like I was really flippant, but we had long discussions. We looked at the money. We looked at our situation. We looked at what are we willing to sacrifice, right? And if you really have a good idea, then you have to pursue it. And then you not only just pursue it, you got to be smart with your work. You can't just work hard. Like, you can run around in circles and go nowhere, right? And work really, really hard. You'll be sweaty for 2 hours. But if you have a real good plan, so plan yourself, understand that there is ups and downs. You can make a lot of money and you can lose it all. And if you lose it all, is business all about the money, or what's it about, right? So I always remember your why, and live and hold on to that, like, as a business, like when you first step in, because often things change. Your perspective of business changes, your perspective of people changes, and business changes. The world changes daily, right? So we are now in a different space. Like you said, it's hard to hire people. Because the workers that are coming through are not the same workers that were in the 80s. They don't have the same ideals. No. They're a little bit more like, what do I get? You're actually going to have to pay me more. Like,
what's in it for me?
What's in it for me? Yeah. And I need a break. I've only been working half an hour. I'm tired. Yeah, I'm not going to come to work today. And this is what you're dealing with as an employer. And I really believe for anyone who really wants to jump in and they got that little hunger on the inside and it's not leaving them alone, they can't go to sleep, then make a plan. Make sure that plan is modern. Like, there is new business. It's new business. Things move. Make sure that you have. And my first problem was that we put all our eggs in one basket. And see, again, that's a cliche. It only makes sense when it hits you, right? So we put all our eggs into that one thing. Lost. When I pivoted, and this is where it is, instead of going backwards, when troubles comes, when hard times come, and they come hard and fast, and sometimes you think it doesn't get worse. Yes, it does. And then it gets worse than that. It does. And then, but if you stay the course and not just stay the course, know that you have a good idea, run with that idea and just keep going. Perseverance, I think, is one of the biggest things. And because everyone faces it. And I say this to the kids. You see the kid that's running the fastest, and they're really fit and they're really thing, and everyone's like, oh, he's lucky. No, he feels tired like you. You are both as tired as each other. In his head, though, he'll just keep pushing, right? Yeah. And he's trained himself to do that. Whereas and this is where I think those who are in a 9 to 5 and they jump into into business, they believe this is it's going to happen like that. And when it doesn't, I'll go back to my work, right?
I think I've already done that. When you're in business, you can't just plan to be 100% successful. There is a process to it. There are going to be times where you're low, where you're down. And last year, that actually happened for us. I could see through the numbers that we weren't going to make it through a couple of months when all the schools weren't operating during the Christmas period. So I went out, and I didn't tell him because I didn't want him to feel like he had failed me. So I went out and got a part-time job. Even as a business owner, I'm like, okay, I can see this is not going to look well in a month. So what can I do to help us get through that down
cash flow,
period,
right?
just to have some cash flow so we can cover our necessities for our home. So I went and picked up a part-time job. So towards the end of last year and then at the beginning of this year, I was back in a 9-to-5 job again. And I remember talking to my mum about this, and she's like, that's awesome that you went out and did that. You had the foresight to go out and do it. Not many people will. Some people just think because they're in business, it's all reliant on this, and there's no other sacrifice that you need to make. But that's not true, is it? Most people will just throw the hat in and go, okay, well, I've got to go get a 9-to-5 job. My business has failed and that's it. And I'm like, no, I'm not prepared to fail. I'm not prepared to go through that again. If that means that he needs to be at home with our kids and work on another side of the business, what I can do is go out and get a 9-to-5 and just get things moving and ticking over until we can start up our year again, and then we can look at it with bit more of an understanding of where we are financially, because there were changes and that happened that year in our business, and it was difficult to plan. It was difficult to forecast because we didn't have a firm idea of how much was actually coming in and how much was going out. We had just taken on about 11 employees at that time, so that is X amount of dollars as well. Covering court hire, covering GST expenses of business. And it was like, okay, so this is how much we're charging. And we probably need to up those costs because it's not.
Yeah, increase your prices, right?
Yeah, we probably need to do that. And this one's like, no, we're not doing it. It took me 3 years to get him to up like $5 because the community heart of his just won't do it. And I was like, but we kind of need, if you don't want me to have to go back and get a 9-to-5 job, we're going to have to like.
It's a reality of business, right?
I'll say this though. I will say this. The price we charge for what we deliver is the right price for what we do. People overcharge that. So when we stepped into the market, I was like, you're overcharging for what you do. What we're teaching is not elite basketball, yet you're giving elite basketball prices. So I set that price because I believe, and this is, again, we have morals. We add our moral compass to our business, which does hold us back financially sometimes. But I don't care because it's just, that's what you should pay for basketball. And I do not want money to ever be a hindrance for a kid to want to not play. Oh, I can't come this term because I can't afford it. Cool, come anyway, I don't care. Like, come. Yeah. When you can afford it, pay for it. If you can afford to pay us back for it, cool. If not, come and work. Come and do some refereeing for me. Coach for me. Sweep the floor. Like, there's ways to pay for things that aren't monetary. You give me your time, we can exchange. So I know. And I know. And this is part of our issue. As partners, this is part of our issue, is that we do have different, and and this is why we haven't failed, because of her. And this is probably why we push forward sometimes, because of me. So, there's a give and take, but without both of us, we don't go that way. It has to be, you have to bury some of the rubbish,
it's a beautiful partnership. So what's next for Foundation Basketball? What's your future goal, plan? What are you thinking?
Well, we're 8 years in, so for a 10-year plan. And so the next 2 years is to actually, from the beginning was always to, and I think I mentioned this before, was to build a club room, to have a home for basketball in our area, for our community. And that's what I'm doing. So that's what we are doing. We are going to, I'm on the mission to gain funding, to get sponsorship, to get all types of funding that you can to build this building and leave it there for the community. That's my legacy piece, I think.
So a basketball club. Awesome.
Just like you have at the Ponsonby Ponies. All these clubs are home where the adults come. And I'm the alcohol and the pokies thing, that's back in the 80s. I would rather have a cafe in the daycare. And a 24-hour gym type thing. And lots of good ideas that we have around it.
That's so awesome. And whereabouts in Auckland? South Auckland?
East Auckland. That's where we are. Yeah. We are the eastern-based jellyfish. So,
of course,
so I'm staying where I'm at. That's where I'm at now. So I'm from South Auckland, but this is where I am now, and this is where I stay. So this is that's the community I'm passionate about, and that's the community that we will. I still do work in South Auckland, but
that's awesome.
I think it just allows us to do more. because as
Well, business-
we discussed this before, it's
business
the courts.
wise, business wise,
Yeah.
we're operating 4 days a week with probably restricted to about 6 hours a day.
Yeah, because you have to rent the courts, and there
You've
aren't that
gotta
many
rent it.
courts around, right?
No.
No, there aren't.
No.
We don't have the infrastructure of the US where basketball's a massive thing.
Even
Even
Australia.
finding public courts is
Australia
hard.
has.
You go to
an
Melbourne.
amazing
Melbourne
structure.
has I've looked at the Melbourne model. A club in Melbourne, they have a 12-court facility, a club like
Yeah.
the
And
Jelly
are they
Just one
covered?
club.
Covered, uncovered combination. What are you thinking?
full facility, like
Awesome.
big building with because we do educational programs as well. So Basketball for Life I do within schools. So we help a lot of the very high needs kids,
Yeah.
autistic kids, ADHD kids, violent kids, behavioral problems, and that piece there, I don't really advertise that. It's because I don't need to. It's sort of we are funded by the Ministry of Education, and that program itself, what we're trying to do is implement it into the whole space so that it helps pay for it, but then we actually can be doing things. I think a lot of the problems like a Swish factory or a private basketball courts, they can't fill it during the school hours,
Yeah, right.
9 to 3. So
Because there's no kids.
No.
and
They're all at school,
they're at school.
hopefully.
Yeah.
And as a business, that's 6 hours of no operation. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's hindered a lot of the private operators with their things. Whereas with us, we can fill it all day, 7 days a week. And I think business-wise, like if we're talking, like I've talked for community and all this rubbish, if I'm a smart business person, that's what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Because if I can do that in 4 days, what can I do with 7?
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
Doesn't
So we
wanna
need
give us a break.
investors
Yeah.
to support the dream of building the clubhouse and providing that kind of community focus.
And it feeds on because, we've sent, I've had, 8 years now, I've got one kid who's just gone over to US on scholarship, full scholarship,
Amazing.
to Darrow School in upstate New York. And he's amazing, but he's just come through our club. And that a lot of people go, oh, we need to look after the top end. Where do you think the top end kids come from?
Oh, yeah, grassroots.
Yeah.
Grassroots. And,
To the
sadly,
fundamentals somewhere.
if you look at rugby, that's where it's at. That's what's happened is the grassroots. And I recognized that really early. I was like, I went to a club rugby game and I was like, why are you guys playing 7-on-7? Like, where's the rest of the team? And they were just like, oh, this is the amount of kids we have. And I was like, I've never seen this before. Growing up, it was 10 fields full
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
That was
teams on the
eye-opening,
side.
actually.
It's different in New Zealand at the moment. So
Yeah.
for me,
Well, there's
I
a
wanna
groundswell
establish-
for basketball, right? It's it's an amazing sport and people are recognising it.
oh, it's
And
just
there's
not-
chance of a head injury, which is always nice.
well, we're raising our kids. Yeah, we're not the same, right? We're not the same. Hey, that's actually probably the biggest
It's
part.
a big thing, actually.
I think that's the thing that's
Oh,
hurt it the
100%.
most was the physicality and the concussions and the effect of it. And I think that's what's taken a lot of us as parents, like my children. You think, oh, rugby, we've got to play rugby. I just didn't because I haven't raised them that way. And they're not raised that way these days. So a lot of them don't. A lot of them go to basketball because it's not as confronting, like physically confronting. I'd say rugby and league are pretty close to combat sports in regards to how hard it is. You have to be a certain dude to really enjoy that.
Yeah, but you have to have certain talent to make it on the basketball court too, right? There's a massive mental element to all sports, and you see it on the court. That's awesome. Okay, so we're after a club. That's our club rooms.
We're
Club rooms. Let's build a home. Let's
Build a home.
get some home court and have kids' names. Like I've said to Hunter, who's gone on scholarship, I said, your jersey is retired in our club. So the moment that we have a club, I have a wall to put it on. I'm putting his jersey and his number there, and you're the first one. So number 8's gone from the Jellyfish. That's his for life.
Sorry,
It's a lucky number. It's a nice balanced number. So there you go.
Yeah, but yeah, home. That's what we need.
Honestly, I could talk to you guys for all week, I think. I am so inspired by your story, PJ, about how you got into it and your support, Krissie. Just such an inspiring couple. I absolutely love the work that you do. I mean, I've seen the impact firsthand and the confidence you've helped my own son gain through basketball. And, of course, he's going to make the NBA.
Yes.
Like they all think. But the point is, he someone's believed in him.
I'll hold him to
And
that.
it makes all the difference.
Well, that's
so
the thing. You tell me your dream, then let's really work towards that.
Yeah.
And this is where, but no matter how big it is, they just got to understand. Yeah, you want to get to the NBA? There's about 1,000 steps after that. So cool, let's stay focused on that dream, but we're going to go step 1 first. And,
yeah.
how can you not believe? Like, if they believe, how can you not believe?
It's a great dream to have. And I think, that's the power of basketball and the power of the work that you're doing, is that you're helping kids form that mental resilience, which, as you've said, is so important in life and in business in particular. There are ups and downs, and you need to have a purpose and a passion to keep you focused through the tough times. So PJ and Krissie, thank you so, so much for joining me today. Such an inspiration what you're doing with Foundation Basketball, your work in the community. I applaud you both, and I'm really grateful that you agreed to be on the show today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's cool. It's been a good chat. I've enjoyed it.